So I had been up for 4 days, high on crack cocaine, marijuana, weed, and I can't remember what else, but it was intense. So I came back into the hood, the Vistas. I was walking down Forges, heading towards Thomas Park to my house, by my house, to go re-up, to get some more, to re-up on some coke. And this dude I know from the hood, the old youngster, little YG, came up to me high on some dust. You know, wanted to Angel dust, yeah, PCP. And wanted to rob me, and his 380 put to my head, and
Thank you guys so much for joining us. William Ramirez with us. We know him as Billy.
Born and raised in the town, Tucson.
I know him as Triple B.
Triple Bizzle in the Hizzo.
So what was Triple B?
So I got that name from a brother from our church who passed away from cancer.
Who was that?
His name was Mito Montoya.
Oh, Mito gave you that name?
Yes.
That's Joseph Merchant's cousin, right?
Yeah.
So technically your step cousin.
He's my step cousin because Joseph Merchant is my step brother. Yep.
He died from a brain tumor.
Yes, a brainstem tumor.
That's crazy, bro.
How old was he?
He was 18. He was about to get married.
No, when he died, he was like, wasn't he like 21?
No, he died when he was about 18.
Who are his parents?
Mito?
They're from Sarita.
Veronica.
Yep.
Veronica.
His sister was about to marry Chris Nunez.
She did marry Chris Nunez.
Oh, yeah, okay.
He was gonna marry Larry Ibarra's sister.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Maribel.
Maribel, there you go.
Interesting.
Dude, that's crazy, bro. So how did he give you the name though?
So because I was a little bit bigger back then,
Amen.
he said, Brother Billy, you know what? Your new name is Triple B. And I said, what does that mean?
Big
he goes,
Brother
it stands
Billy?
for Big Brother Billy.
Yeah. I remember Pastor Fred Gonzalez said that one time when you were in prison, because Pastor Warner said he had said something about you had tried calling him and that he missed your call, so you left him a voicemail.
Mm-hmm.
So he said, if any of you talks to Billy, make sure to let him know that I wasn't able to get to his call on time. I don't want him to think that, you know, I didn't want to answer the phone or something like that.
Trying to diss me?
Yeah, this was a long time ago, bro. This was like, I want to say maybe 2000 or 2001, sometime around there. And then after that, Pastor Fred Gonzalez went to do the offering, and then he's like, and if any of you talk to Brother Billy Ramirez, make sure that you tell him that I said hello to Triple B, Big Brother Billy.
Mary Lou. My wife, Mary Lou.
You know, he went to my court in juvenile one time.
To say a good word for you?
Yeah, him and Frank Bravo. They went to my
Pastor
court.
Frank?
Oh, you know who else went? Adrian Miguel.
Oh, wow.
It was Adrian Miguel.
Rest in peace, right?
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, dude. Adrian Miguel, Frank Bravo, and Pastor Fred Gonzalez, they were there in my court. And I remember I came out in shackles and handcuffed. And I was so embarrassed, bro, because I saw the way like Pastor Fred Gonzalez just looked at me. And dude, I was so embarrassed, bro. And I sat down and they were talking about me, and my probation officer was like, I'll release him on the condition that he starts, he
stops messing with animals.
He's like, that he takes a psychiatric evaluation and he needs to be medicated. And then Pastor Fred Gonzalez said it all loud. He's like, what is that medication going to do for him other than get him lightheaded? What he needs is Jesus. That's all he needs.
He closes his eyes.
Yeah. All he needs is Jesus.
Goodness.
But he said that loud in the courtroom.
So, Billy,
Yes.
what was your upbringing like? What
Okay,
was
so
the way you were
basically,
raised?
I was born in 1970 at the Davis Mountain Air Force Base. My dad was stationed there. He was like I said, he was a decorated soldier, World War II, Korean, Vietnam. And as soon as I was born, he retired from the service after serving 25 years. My mom, she's full-blooded Sioux Indian. They met in the military, my mom and dad, and they had me in their old age. My mom was 48 when she had me.
Oh my gosh.
And my dad was like 54.
So that's considered a geriatric pregnancy, right?
Yes, but she had twins.
You're a twin?
Yes. But my twin brother passed away
Really?
And they had to open my mom.
In the womb?
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
What?
You were a twin.
Can you imagine 2 of us?
Dang, that'd be like quadruple B. No,
The natural disasters.
Sextuplet. I don't know how many bees. That'd be a lot of bees, bro.
So my
plus.
brother has 2 twin daughters who graduated
Oh,
from
so
college.
twins run in your family.
I'm next in line.
Yeah, mine too.
That's why I got to make sure that whoever I marry is, she's got to be the one.
Are you? No, let's move on. Never mind.
Never mind.
Hey, bro, check this out.
So you were born and raised with a military family,
Right. So my parents, they retired here after I was born, and my brothers were already in high school, going to Pueblo High School.
Okay. So when did your life start?
My life started going south when I was a kid. I got something really, really bad happened to me. I got molested, and that brought a lot of pain, hurt, and I started to use drugs when I was a kid.
How old were you?
I was like maybe like around 7 or 8 years old.
Oh man.
I started to drink my dad's beer in the refrigerator, and started to resorting to smoking weed. My brothers used to have weed around the house, and I just go into their stash and smoke it on a can or whatever to get high to numb that pain.
Yeah. So did you ever, I can relate to what you're saying because I had family members that lived with us when I was young that went through the same thing. And I know they tried to expose the person that did it, but because everyone's life at that time that were adults, they were just all involved in drinking, partying, drugs. They didn't believe the kids. They just ignored them. And so did you at all ever try to expose or confront?
I tell you, man, it was hard for me to talk about this because I felt so embarrassed.
Yeah.
And so like
It's almost like you didn't want no one to know that it
exactly.
happened. Yeah.
And my dad and my mom, they never knew, and they went to their graves not knowing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So you had to hold that in your entire childhood, your whole life, pretty much.
Pretty much. Until recently, I got therapy for it when I was in high school.
Really?
Yeah. Because my freshman year at Catalina High School, I got kicked out my freshman year because I pushed some kid in the pool, and they kicked me out the entire year. And so I missed my freshman year. Like I wasn't graduating with my class from kindergarten. And they made me go to a rehab, which was West Center at the time, which was on Campbell and Roger. It's no longer there no more. It's called Tucson General Hospital.
They knew you were on drugs?
They knew that I was using drugs and selling drugs on school campus.
Tucson General Hospital, that thing, bro. I remember that hospital. My little brother was born there.
Yeah.
And then they knocked it down shortly afterwards. That was like 1997.
Something like that.
Yeah.
When I got saved in 1997.
So I remember when I met Triple B, I was a little kid, bro. And like Triple B's always had an impact on me, bro. Like I remember, because I grew up in a broken home, and I was being raised by my grandparents, because my grandparents, always try to take care of me and my brother. And one of my uncles, who was the black sheep of the family, ended up getting radically saved at the door. And he started going to the door, and he took me and my brother to the door. And I remember, to me, that was like such a big deal because they had hip hop concerts and rock concerts. And I was like, they do that at churches, and to me, that just blew my mind. And I went over there, and all I see is a bunch of OGs and ex-thugs, and Triple B was one of them. And I remember Triple B walked up to me like, to me at the time, he's big, bro. He was like a giant to me then, bro. I was like 12 years old. And Triple B came up to me. He's like, I come from a barrio, man. That's the first thing he told me, bro. So I come from a barrio, man. I thought he was going to try to smash me or something, bro. He's like, what's your name, little brother? And you prayed with me, bro. You prayed with me, and I remember you were witnessing to me, and you were telling me that you grew up in Vista, and then Jose Sanchez came. And Jose Sanchez was, I remember,
Hollywood.
Yeah, he
West
was from
Side.
Barrio Hollywood, and Frank Bravo. And I'm just like listening to, because I was a little thug, you know. And I
Right.
mean, I was really young, bro, but that's what I had been exposed to, you know. So watching you guys, I was like, man, these dudes are the real deal, you know. And I remember that had an impact on me. I didn't stick,
Yeah.
but
The seed was planted.
yeah, the seed was planted, bro, and I remember that. So
So you've known him pretty much his whole life,
Pretty much.
yeah,
your adult life and teens, right?
Well, him
Yeah.
and his brother and his sister.
Yeah.
yeah, bro,
Um,
we go way. That was what, 24 years ago.
It's 1997.
That's awesome,
That's
man.
almost a quarter of a century.
I can't believe it myself.
Dang, bro.
Okay, so you go through this traumatic experience
Okay.
and you turn to drugs, you get kicked out of school. What options did you have at that point in your life?
Well, to be honest with you, when I got kicked out of school, I went to a rehab and I worked on my my demons. Like, they came out the closet when I expressed to them that those things that happened to me as a kid. I got to work on, you know, talking about it and stuff like that, going to like meetings, AA meetings and NA meetings. Back in those days, I was just a little kid, and I was in a room with all these adults, and they were talking about their problems and their addictions.
And how old were you?
Oh man, I was like 17.
Oh wow. So this is like late 80s.
It was like 87, 88.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Dang, bro, you're an OG, bro.
Yep.
I was just a baby back then.
Yeah. Well, you know, as time goes on, you just you just try to fight to live another day. You know, because in the hood, you know, I grew up around cholos in the 70s and 80s. There wasn't no gangsters. They were like cholos. It was neighborhoods against neighborhoods back in those days.
Yeah.
I remember
basically.
I was born 1990.
Oh, okay.
So in the 90s, colors were huge.
Right.
So that was the area. You were like the ones wearing those colors, right?
Well, I grew up in the blood neighborhood,
So
but I wasn't the blood until later in life. you
So,
know?
but that's like how you distinguished the gang members, right?
Right.
Those thugs. Because nowadays, they're almost not distinguishable unless, you know, like, because, I mean,
I don't even think it's a thing anymore, bro.
it's not, huh?
It's not.
But there's still bloods.
It's
There's-
more of like just drugs and selling, right?
No, not necessarily. Like if you go to the west side, you got West Side Crips. If you go to the south side, like by South 6 in Valencia, you got
Okay.
South Side.
I guess because-
Posse Blood.
I guess because I'm not growing up there anymore, you know?
They're still around. It's just a new generation, you know. And what's so sad is that the devil, you know, he just wants to wreak havoc in especially young people's lives.
I mean, I remember back in the day in the 90s, the 6th Ave days, everybody used to cruise down 6th Avenue, the South 6th Ave days. And
Yep.
I remember BMP, bro, and Vista and the dudes from Centro and hot. Like, dude, these dudes were like shooting at each other, bro.
Is BMP Brown Mexican Pride?
So
Yep.
BMP, yeah, but BMP weren't cholos. They were more like mobsters. Like they were about making money, but
M16?
They
Is
wanted
that
to
That's a gun, right?
No, the M16.
Wow, really?
So BMP, bro, they were. I remember being a little kid and watch BMP. They're like your age,
Hold on, let's
you
hold.
know. I remember BMP, bro. They were. I wanted to be like them because they had nice cars. They. I remember they had a tape. You know what I mean? They were the first rappers in Tucson that I had ever heard of. I remember I threw on that tape and they're like, straight up Tucson, Arizona, disrespecting you, Zagona. This is like 97, you know, and I was like, dang, you know, like this is tight. You know, Tucson got some rappers. And I'm not going to say any names, but there was this dude from BMP that lived a couple houses down from me. And my brother and I used to go down there and get weed from him.
Yeah.
And they used to throw these big old parties, bro. And we used to go down there and I used to be like, hey, what's up? I want to be down with BMP. And they'll be like, go home, little kid. You know, we were just little kids, bro. But they were cool with us, you know. And we thought they were just like, so
Idols.
cool, bro. Yeah, I wanted to be just
They're
like them.
idols.
Yeah, because I didn't have a dad, bro. I didn't have I had my grandpa.
So back in the day, the gang was like, you know, you got recognition when you did stuff. Like if you stole, if you did beer runs.
Well, that was the thing. I remember my brother and I used to get in trouble and we used to do a lot of stupid things, bro. And the older homies in the neighborhood, they would recognize that and be like, hey, you little dudes are down. Come over here. Come smoke this joint. And that made me feel accepted.
Right.
Like, man, these guys like me.
So later in life, my brother invited me to live in Avondale, Arizona. And he was going to church over there because he got saved in the 70s with Richard Ruby, the Ruby Brothers.
You talking about Chuck Benson?
Yep. No, my brother. That was
brother?
my stepbrother, Chuck Benson. It was my adopted brother.
Okay.
My DNA brother, Vince Ramirez, started going to the door. It was on Veterans Boulevard back in the 70s.
Oh, wow.
And used to take me there when I was a little kid, like about 6 or 7 years old. And then in like 76, 77. And that was right after that episode had happened to me. So God was already like, you know, trying to get a hold of my heart as a little boy. So I was in and out of the church on Veterans all the way to the 80s. You know, because my brother Vince was taking me to church and I saw, you know, Pastor Stuart Reblin on the piano, playing the piano in his younger days.
Oh, wow.
You know, Pastor Warner preaching like a fire, like Holy Ghost fire. I just remember seeing the church packed. It was always packed. There was standing room only.
Wow.
So let me ask you something.
What's that?
You're seeing the birth of the fellowship, right?
Correct.
And you're seeing the Holy Spirit move, and you still decide to turn and go your own direction.
Well, not necessarily, because when I was a kid, I didn't comprehend the moving of God. You know what I mean? I was like still a little kid status. But as I got older in my teenage years, I was at the park in the hood, and they would be doing outreaches at the Public Gardens Park, like gang plays. And people would be witnessing to me, like Jason Rodriguez, Joey Rodriguez.
Oh, I remember Joey Rodriguez, bro.
You know, these guys would be out there, like, you know, witnessing to me, telling me about Jesus, but I was already like high, drinking. It was just going one in and out the other. You know what I mean?
But would you go to these events just to
I would
hang
go.
out?
I would just go hang out and chill, and look at the girls. You know what I mean?
The women of God.
Yeah,
Sisters in Christ.
exactly.
So okay. So you obviously hear the truth at a young age. You're living your life in sin.
Right.
What happens next?
My mom, she goes to one of these concerts at Reed Park when they had a like a movie like Crossing the Switchblade with Nikki Cruz
And David Wilkerson.
Yeah, and my mom gets saved and gets slain in the spirit at the altar call.
Dang.
Slain.
Slain in the spirit, and she comes back not drinking alcohol no more because she
Just
was an
like that?
alcoholic. Yeah,
Delivered on the spot?
Delivered on the spot.
Dang, bro. That was the Jesus People movement time though, huh?
Yes,
There was a
This was in the early '80s.
okay.
When Kevin Greer and he was with this group called Hosanna. It was like a worship team
With Mona.
Yes, it was anointed, man. It was pretty good.
It's awesome.
It's snowing outside right now.
Praise God, man.
Amen.
What's that Bible say in Isaiah about snow and being as white as what? Our sins being as white as what?
Snow.
And our
Whiter than the snow. What is it? Because
My Jesus.
I need to study more,
God's
man.
precious.
Thank you, Pastor Alvin, for the discipleship class, man.
hey, that discipleship class was,
Fire.
bro. Like I had thought about going to Bible college before because I was craving that type of discipleship. Today, bro, I thanked God, bro. I was like, thank you for this, God. Like,
You had it on a Monday?
bro, he's teaching like theology, bro, like biblical
Monday?
Like
theology.
university theology.
Yeah, for like guys that have an interest for being pastors.
Pastors,
Yeah.
Bible teachers,
Is he doing this
evangelists.
online?
No, it's
he's
in
doing
person.
Yeah, he hand selected.
I think it's invite
a
only.
few.
So where were we at? So that was in the 80s. 1986, I was 16 years old. I was a wino already.
What's a wino?
Like I drank
Alcoholic.
nothing but wine. That was my drug of choice was wine. I drank the
Like
MD,
actual wine?
like the
or
MD
beer?
MD 2020 was my drug of choice.
I remember Mad
The
Dog
multicolored
2020.
drinks.
Yes, like a wine
like
cooler,
wine
but it was
cooler?
extremely strong. I mean, like
Is that kind of like Alizé and Hypnotic and all that stuff?
worse?
Worse?
Yes,
Oh yeah, Mad Dog 2020, bro.
it's stanky.
Yeah.
Really? Does it taste good though?
It was sweet, but it had a kick to it.
Yeah.
So now you're an alcoholic,
Now
right?
I'm an alcoholic.
At 16?
At 16, I was with this girl from Barrio Centro, and she was supposedly be having my baby.
What?
Because back in those days, that's how it was. Teenagers having kids.
That's true. I mean, my mom had her first when she was 16.
So I was going to be a father at 15,
Wow.
and I got locked up in juvenile, Catalina Mountain School. And to make a long story short, my dad passed away when I was in Catalina Mountain School in 1986. He passed away from a heart attack at 70 years old.
Sorry to hear that, brother.
Man.
And so it seemed like a curse had begun because every time I got locked up, someone died in my family.
And you weren't able to be there.
And I wasn't able to be there. Okay, so 1986, my dad passes. I'm at Catalina Mountain School, and my girlfriend at the time comes to the prison and smuggles me 2 packs of Marlboro cigarettes
Wow.
to the cafeteria.
She
So-
smuggles them?
She smuggles them into the prison
How did she get him in?
How'd she get them in?
through her purse. They didn't search
They
her.
didn't search your purse?
Well, that's very unprofessional.
Well, that's before they were starting to crack down, huh?
Exactly.
thought it was-
All they had was a metal detector to the gate. That was it.
Didn't detect the foil? Wow.
So it's not like those in the movies where he gets that balloon and
Like American Me?
Yeah, it's not
So
like
my
that.
camera's dead, bro.
So what I did was I went and it's like I could see it like it happened yesterday, photographic memory and everything in color. 16-year-old kid. My dad comes to visit me that day with my mom, and we have a water balloon fight because it was hot. And that was the last time I ever see my dad alive because he passed away like about 4 days later after that visit.
Oh, wow.
How did he die? Why
He died of a heart attack because my dad was in 3 world wars. He worked in the mines after he retired from the Air Force. So he had a lot of smelter smoke in his lungs from being in the mine.
Yeah.
And it caught up to him later in life. And he passed away when he was 70. I was 16. And so that took I never got a chance to say goodbye to him. You know what I mean? I just he would come to visit me every week, him and my mom, and bring my girlfriend. And they used to, I don't know if this is allowed to say this, but I used to make love to my girlfriend when my parents used to watch for me.
Wait, what?
Yeah, they would watch to see if the guards would come, and I would go into the house, the hut, and make love to my girl.
All your parents would look out for you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Dang, bro. Wow, that's kind of cool, I guess. So he's our son. He got gissing.
You gotta get now.
You gotta get saved.
That's a sin.
you go, son.
You weren't even married.
Those days, it was only one guard for visitation, and he would have to go take his walk. And so when he's taking his walk, I would just go in that little hut and just get some real quick, and then act like it's normal. Come back, be normal.
Hey, you have that picture when you were 15?
It's in the car.
Oh, dude, you got to show them.
No way, man! You crazy?
Dude, that looks nothing like him, bro, when he was 15. He
I
was
have an afro.
he was like half B
Amen.
back then, bro. Half a B.
Go grab it, dude.
He was
Do you want to
he was
just send it to me
Froby.
later? I'll put it up.
Yeah, sure.
He was Afro B.
he was
I had a fro.
no, it's capital B.
Plus,
and
I was
then-
about $110, maybe.
Whoa.
1986. My dad dies. They came. I was actually in church when they came and told me, and it was what happened was My dad had a heart attack while he was driving. Luckily, no one got injured or killed. And
was anyone else in the car with him?
Yeah, he was with my other brother.
And they crashed?
He didn't crash because he wasn't driving, but they said that he tilted his head back and his eyes went back into his head, and that was his last breath.
Oh man.
So they called me when I was in church service at Catalina Mountain School, and they asked me to come into the chaplain's office. And every time you get called into the chaplain's office, you already know that it's bad news.
Yeah.
And they called me and they told me that, hey, your mom's on the phone, she's crying, and they need to talk to you. And so they were asking me, all my brothers and my family members were in the hospital with my dad, and they wanted to know if I was okay for me to pull the plug.
Oh man.
They wanted you to give the
They wanted
say?
me to say, because everyone agreed to pull the plug, but they didn't have my affirmation. Wow. And I was just devastated because I had just seen him. He came to visit me with my girl, brought my girl to my house, brought cigarettes to me and everything. And I was like, he's gone already? And I was just like, I was devastated, dude. I remember crying. I remember just saying, you know, he can't hear me. Can I talk to him? And they said, no, he's in a coma. He's brain dead. There's no brain activity. And I just remember telling them, you know, I said, go ahead then, you know, what can I say? Go ahead, but go ahead and pull the plug. And I heard everyone crying when he took his last breath. Yeah, I heard the whole room erupt in sorrow.
So that must have sent you to like a dark
Dude, they had to
place.
put me in the lockdown because they thought I was going to hurt myself. They put me in the whole 24-hour lockdown.
Did they still call it separation back then?
Yeah. So they separated me from general population and threw me in the hole for like a week.
What cottage were you in?
I was in Mesquite. I was in a crazy cottage.
Oh, okay. I was in Manzanita.
That's a little kid cottage. Then you had Saguaro, which is gangbangers.
Yeah. Well, Saguaro later on ended up becoming Crossroads, which was anger management.
Okay.
I was with Goldilocks and then the Three Bears. They were
Red Riding Hood.
When
and the
I
Big
was
Bad
there,
Wolf.
Mesquite was the sex offender unit. It ended up turning
year
into
was that in?
That was it used to be Chiricahua. Chiricahua was a Chester unit. They called it Chester Kawa.
Oh my goodness.
But then they switched it and then they made Mesquite the Chester unit. And I don't know
that
why.
was before my time, baby.
These are minors, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you still had minors that were.
I'm talking like late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah, I was already gone.
Oh, you
Yeah,
could.
so
when
he
did-
was in there in the 80s.
So how long were you in there
That
after
doesn't
all this
exist
had
anymore.
happened?
so I got a 6-month sentence for marijuana.
Wow, and now that's legal.
Now it's legal.
So
Thank you, Joe Biden.
if it would have happened nowadays, would you have gotten even sentenced?
No, I would probably just walked away. Everything would have been cool.
So you served the entire 6 months. And
I
then-
did 4 months because my dad died, and they let me out on early release.
Really?
Yeah,
Man, they had grace on you. If you think about it.
yeah. God favor, didn't deserve it.
So what happened?
So I got out into the streets, and I found out that my girl that I thought I loved and that I was going to be a father was cheating on me and was with another dude, and I was a puppy love back then, you know.
Yeah.
And I just let her go. It was a wrap, you know.
So-
and it,
What happened to that baby?
She didn't
though?
have
was
your baby?
pregnant with?
she had an abortion, dude.
Without telling you?
I was gonna be a father to a baby boy.
Wow.
What year was this?
1986. I was
Bro,
16.
so your son would be his age right now, 34 years old.
Correct.
Dang, he's old enough to be your son.
Wait, how old are you?
I'm 50. I'll be 51 in April.
He didn't even look like it, huh?
Oh, man.
Not at all. Praise God. Praise God, brother.
Dang.
Yes, sir.
So now you're out.
Now
and,
I'm out,
and you realize that this girl that
So I go back to high school when I was 18 years old, and I'm in my freshman year when I'm supposed to be in college.
Wow.
oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So you feel out of place already.
Yeah, so you know what? I was like, no matter what happens, I'm gonna get my diploma. I ended up graduating from Catalina High School in 1991 with the diploma.
And how old were you then?
21.
You finished.
At 21 years
Finished
old.
high school.
Yes.
Wow.
Hey man, you made it though. That's good.
And then I ended up going to college in Kansas.
Really?
Yeah.
You moved to
What are you doing
Kansas?
in
I moved
Kansas,
to Kansas.
bro?
Why?
For football or what?
Because I'm
Did you
native.
go looking for Dorothy?
I was on that brick road.
The yellow brick
The
road?
yellow brick road. Yeah. So I ended up going to college in Kansas in 1991 to pursue a career in teaching,
What did you want to teach?
high school.
Oh, okay.
But I didn't have no felonies then. I had no felonies on my record until I came back from Kansas. I got kicked out. I got the boots.
Why'd you get kicked out?
Because of my drinking. Alcoholic. Remember I told you 16 I was a wino.
So what happened? Like,
So what happened was I was drinking because over there in Missouri, in Kansas, the Missouri River separates the two states, and on Sundays you can't go to the bar unless you cross the river into Missouri and buy alcohol. On Sundays they didn't sell alcohol.
So you were in Kansas City, Kansas?
No, I was in Kansas, Dorothy, Kansas.
Oh, okay.
And Pastor Pinnick was in I forgot where Pastor Pinnick was pastoring at.
Topeka?
No,
Oh, he was pastoring
He
at
was
the time?
pastoring over there, and my family were telling him that he needed to check up on me because he was pastoring over there. I forgot what town he was in though.
Wichita, Kansas?
I think he was in Wichita. I was in Lawrence,
Okay.
the home of the Jayhawks, Kansas Jayhawks. But I was going to a Native American college called Haskell, and I was there. It was cold winters. I just
so
remember
you were in Haskell acting like a rascal.
That's right. You're exactly right.
So what happened? What did you do to get you kicked out?
So this is what I did, man. I hate to disclose what I did, but what happened was I got so drunk one night that I was walking around my dorm butt naked. They called me the Naked Gun.
Oh man.
And I was so embarrassed, man. I didn't remember any. I blacked
You were
out.
21.
I was 21.
Your
21.
dorm or your dorm
But I
building?
was in my dorm. I was in a college dorm at 21 years old, and it was full ride scholarship.
Oh wow.
So you were on the right path. You just kept messing up, bro.
Yeah, my addiction, bro, basically kept me down.
So this whole time since you got out, you're an alcoholic?
Alcoholic and smoking weed.
16
every day.
to 21 so
No,
far?
we're actually
14, huh?
1977.
From
So
7.
were you like the type of alcoholic where if you didn't drink, you couldn't be normal?
I couldn't function.
Oh man.
So you were a functioning alcoholic.
Yes,
I was the same way.
Really?
Yeah.
I
had
hear
to
that
drink.
they say that when you're an alcoholic and you're trying to get withdrawn from alcohol, it's worse than like withdrawals from heroin. Like you could die because your body has changed so much.
I get the shakes, and I got to have a beer when I have a shake.
I would get like that too, and I would get really bad anxiety too. But I would feel like I was losing my mind, bro. Like I'd start to freak out.
My brother couldn't function. He'd have a horrible headache, and he wouldn't feel
Here,
normal.
talking to me.
Sorry,
Who's
my
your what brother?
Fernando.
Okay.
And he couldn't function until he took a shot in the morning. He'd have a headache. He'd feel like crap. Once he took that shot, it was like nothing happened.
Yeah.
Wow. Have you guys seen that movie Flight?
Oh,
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, that's
Does it
bad.
watch it?
Bro, he killed that, huh? Is that kind of like a realistic like angle or approach to how
that my drug of choice when I was a kid was White Crosses. So it was like a cocaine pill.
Oh wow.
When you took it, it make you feel hyper. That's what I was addicted to when I was a little kid, was White Crosses. I loved them. They were like,
Where'd you get that from?
I got them from the Cholos in the hood. They sold the White Crosses, the Black Beauties.
What was it though?
It was an upper.
No, I know, but do you remember
was
what the
cocaine and what?
medication was?
Yeah, I don't know the chemical name,
Was it like Ritalin or
but they
something?
were
that?
like real tiny white pills. They call them White
Was it
Crosses.
cocaine?
No, it was just
No?
it was just an upper. It made me feel like, up.
Wow.
So that's what got me started into the cocaine. When I turned 18, I started buying powder cocaine, but I was just sniffing it back then. When I started smoking it, my brother introduced me to
crack.
crack cocaine.
So when you're sniffing cocaine, it's cocaine, but when you smoke it, it becomes crack.
Well, you cook it.
You got to cook it in baking soda.
Yeah, you cook it, rock it up, and then you smoke it.
Have you done that?
No, I've cooked it. I've never smoked it.
Are you sure, David?
No, I never. I never cared
No,
for
I'm just
that
kidding,
drug.
man.
I mean, not even cocaine, powder cocaine. I did it. You know the episode that we did and stuff. But it wasn't something that I like really wanted. I tried drugs when they were there.
Yeah.
But thankfully, I never had a drug addiction. The only drug that I ever kind of got addicted to was opiates. But the moment that I wasn't able to perform. You know what I mean? I was like, I don't love this stuff that much. You know what I mean? So, but no, crack that's a whole different deal, bro. Like, you can break it down, bro. You know more than me.
So basically, when I did crack for the first time, I was 18 years old, 1988.
And this is what I want to understand, bro, because I noticed that once people try crack, bro, that's why I never wanted to try that. It's like, that's it, bro. There's no coming back.
There's not no coming
back. And
I
remember seeing that, bro. Like people would try crack for the first time, boom, they'd become a crackhead overnight. That's why I was like, I ain't never trying that thing, dude.
So 1988,
I turned out a lot of people in my lifetime where they never did drugs, and I gave them a puff of crack, and it flipped them to where they were selling all their furniture, all their cars were going to the dope man.
What was it about crack that did that to people?
It's a mental drug. It's not like heroin to fix the body.
So what does it make you feel though?
It just makes you feel like you're Superman or Captain America and you can do anything. And there's just like I can't explain it to you, man.
So how long do the effects last?
It's only for like about a minute or 2 minutes.
That's it?
That's it.
It's a quick rush, yeah.
So that's why you need to have it all the time,
Well, you
right?
chase it. When you're actually in the addiction, you're trying to chase that first one that you took 12 hours ago. You're chasing that high, and that's where the lie comes in.
So when you say chase it, you mean that you're trying to feel that same high that you felt and you're not able to.
When you first took the first hit,
and you're not able to.
You're not able to.
Ever again?
Ever again.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So I had been up for 4 days, high on crack cocaine, marijuana, weed, and I can't remember what else, but it was intense. So I came back into the hood, the Vistas. I was walking down Forges, heading towards Thomas Park to my house, by my house, to go re-up, to get some more, to re-up on some coke. And this dude I know from the hood, the old youngster, little YG, came up to me high on some dust. Wanted to
Angel
rob
dust?
Angel dust, yeah, PCP, and wanted to rob me. And his 380 put to my head, and it jammed up on him 3 times. He tried to pull the trigger 3 times. So I'm like in shock and stunned, thinking if I was to die right now, I know I was going to go to hell, man. Because I grew up in church. I know the truth. And it was just like an intense episode. And I ran. And that day, Pastor Chuck Benson was preaching at Ernie Martinez's church on Speedway. He had just moved in that building. He came from Globe. And he was going to our church, and I don't know. I can't remember the details, but I asked Pastor Chuck. I said, "Hey, man, can I go with you tonight to that service you're going to be preaching at?" He didn't know the story of what happened to me until after the service, and I remember he was preaching on Jonah, the book of Jonah, and he was talking about how Jonah was running from God and how he got swallowed up by a big fish, and I can see myself in that story. And I just remember just crying and bawling out in the service, man. And they were telling me, you need to go up there and pray. You need to go up there and pray. And I was like, no, I don't want to do that. I want to do that. I was still kind of high from partying for 4 days and no sleep. I was still kind of like, my mind was in fog. It was all fogged up. And I remember just, Chuck Benson would call me to the front when he was doing his altar call. And I just remember surrendering to Jesus that night. all my dirt, all my confusion, all the dope, all the addiction issues that I was having. I just said, God, here I am. I can't do this no more. And I remembering he laid his hand on me and started speaking in tongues. And I just remember just like something being lifted off my back, off my head, off my mind, off my body. And I just remember just being free, man. Like it was like a different world, man. I felt so much better. And I cried for like 2 days, man, straight. Just cried. I cried myself to sleep. And there was people coming to my house that same night that I gave my life to Jesus, knocking on my window, asking if I had crack. And I was like, what are you doing here, dude? 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. I said, I'm asleep. And they go, dude, you got any more dope? You got any more crack? I'm like, no, man, I don't do that no more, dude. I'm not doing that no more.
And for you to say that,
they were looking at me all crazy. Like, what are you talking about? You're not doing that no more. They were looking at me all crazy, man. Like I was out of my mind.
Because I hear that when you're on crack, there's no going back, right?
No.
So for them to see that you're no longer
participating.
Were you addicted still or no longer addicted?
No, I wasn't messing with it. Like
So-
I had totally
Cold turkey.
cold turkey, dude.
So what?
Because after that day, after what happened to me with being a gun pulled onto me, and it jammed 3 times, and like I thought I was gonna die.
Mm-hmm.
And then when Chuck Benson invited me to a revival with Ernie Martinez, man, bro, it was like a dream, man. Like I couldn't believe that I didn't have I wasn't having any like jonesings. I wasn't jonesing for it, because that Jones for crack is intense, man. You got women going out there and selling themselves on the street because that Jones is so tough.
You know, so many people put their trust. I'm not knocking 12-step programs. I'm not knocking, you know, rehabs. Some people that does help them, but Jesus is able to do it like that.
Instantly.
Like that, bro.
Yes. The power of the blood of Jesus. And I didn't understand it all the time. I was blown away just because I didn't have a craving for it. That was mind blowing. It was taken away instantly.
If there's somebody out there listening that maybe is addicted to a harsh drug, a drug that is destroying their life, maybe it's not even a drug, but it's a lifestyle, what would you say to them?
Man, save yourself the jail sentence, save yourself the death sentence, save yourself from ridicule from family members and loved ones, and just surrender to Jesus.
And another thing too, think about it. How many years did you waste of your life?
Oh,
bro?
man. I wasted a lot.
Because you had so many opportunities, bro, and you just, you know, and I'm just speaking the truth.
I kind of smoked them away, bro.
Yeah.
You know, it went to the pipe.
I mean, he was even a DJ at a radio station, KGMS.
Well, that happened. That's a whole different ball game right there, man. That happened after I gave my life to Jesus in 1997.
So you had your own radio station?
Well,
no, he was a DJ.
I was a DJ.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was a DJ.
Yeah, it was a local Christian radio station. They played Christian rock, but when he came on, he played Christian hip hop. So it was big because there was no Christian hip hop.
You're going too fast. Slow down.
My bad. Well, come on, get into it, bro.
Okay, so basically,
Triple B, man, when we gonna fellowship, bro?
After that conversion, I was at something was going on at church. And I on the way back to my house, they were listening to Christian hip hop on the radio, and I was like, I didn't even know that existed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this is in 1997. There was the Gospel Gangsters and DJ Dove and
SS
Mob, or T-Bone was playing on the station. I didn't know who these guys were. And I was like, what is this? Who is this? And when I got home, I said, where's this? What station is this? And I looked in the phone book when we had phone books.
Mm-hmm.
I remember phone books, man.
The yellow pages.
Yeah.
And I was like, KGMS.
Such a waste of paper.
I called them, and then I talked to this guy named Bo, who was a DJ from the Calvary Christian Fellowship Ministry. And he invited me over. He goes, hey, man. He goes, nice to meet you. I shared my testimony, what happened to me that night when I almost got shot. And he goes, yeah, you know what? Come over to the station, and you can say that to us on the real radio. Share your testimony. And that was a Friday night. And I was like, man, I don't know. So I think I talked to Pastor Warner. And I say, hey, Pastor, this guy wants me to share my testimony on the radio. And he goes, yeah, go for it. You know, take someone with you from church. I think I took Frank Bravo and Erica. They were just dating back then.
Okay.
And they
was that when he recorded that song? Give your life to Jesus.
That was that was America and James Boxford. They had a group called
I remember that.
I forgot the name of it, man.
No, but Frank Bravo he recorded, because I remember he showed me the tape and he said, but anyway, I'm digressing. Go ahead and go on with your story.
So basically, I went on the air and I started to listening to all these Christian DJs and how they played their music. And when I went to the show, I just shared my testimony like I'm sharing to you guys right now. And then the phones lit up. They had these phones where all these lines and all these red buttons, they would just light up like when there was like someone on line 2, line 3, line 4, line 5. The whole 30 lines lit up.
Oh, wow.
After I shared my testimony. And there were people calling me from the hood. They're saying, hey, man, is this Billy Ramirez? I said, yeah, what's up? Is that you on the radio, man, talking about Jesus?
What are they doing listening to the Christian station, though?
Bro, that's a thing. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? There were people, my family members were listening. They were listening.
Well, back in those days, too, when somebody would hear something, they'd make calls. Hey, Billy's on the radio.
Word of mouth.
Remember?
Yeah. So, but this is different, though, because I've never been on the station. I didn't know nothing about radio. And I was on the show for... Brother Bo kept inviting me back over to the station to answer the phones because I had a phone ministry there. I was talking to people about Jesus when they would call and inquire about the radio station and the music. I would tell them about Jesus, about my testimony, and he just kept inviting me back. And after 6 months of constant every Friday nights, because the ministry was every Friday night from 10 to 2, he says, hey, man, I just got the word that I'm going to be going out of town to be a pastor. And I prayed about it for like a couple of days, and God had put you in my heart. I want to give you the show. You're gonna be the new host.
Wow.
And I was like, me? I was blown away. Like I was like, okay. So he started training me how to talk, how to use the boards, and do the show. And the show only had like 30 CDs. That's all he messed with. And then the 2 turntables, he played like techno, Christian techno. And he used to scratch on the turntables. Because he's from California. He's a surfer.
I didn't even know that even existed.
Yeah.
So how long did you do that for?
So I did that.
Jesus.
I did that for like
Loves you.
I did that from January 1st, 1996, when I gave my life to Jesus, when I got delivered from crack cocaine. And then to like about summertime of 1997, June. And I think we had our conference, and I was inviting pastors from different countries to come in and testify and share their testimony on the radio. Because I was doing the show now.
Did they go?
They went.
Nice.
So like I had Pastor Ajala. I had Pastor from the Sierra Leone church. What's his name? Safa.
Edward Safa.
Edward Safa. Pastor Peter Dior. All these African pastors were coming to the station to share their testimony. I even had Pastor Warner on the show.
Wow.
He shared his testimony.
That's awesome.
And the greatest part of that show was I had a invitation from a professional baseball player that was playing for the Rockies at the time. His name was Terry Shumpert. He was a designated hitter for the Colorado Rockies. He was listening to my show, and then he asked to come in and share his testimony, but I thought it was like a hoax. I thought he was like someone playing, games. I was getting a lot of crank calls. And he goes, yeah, man. He goes, if you want to, you could bring your pastor to the park and go to will call, and there'll be some tickets for you in your name, William Ramirez. It's like, okay, right. Yeah, I'll go check it out. So I took Pastor Warner and another person to the ballpark. And sure enough, at will call, where all the families go get their tickets to go into the stadium, there were some tickets with my name sitting in the will call office. And we went into the stadium where all the families go, that family from the ball players. And I was blown away because we got to sit behind home plate.
That's awesome.
Those are some expensive seats. And there he was, man. He came up to me, shook my hand, shook Pastor Smith's hand because Pastor Smith went with me. And it was so cool. And then he took me to his hotel room at the Hilton on Speedway. And I never seen Nike shoes stacked up to the ceiling like that in my life.
Wow.
baseball gloves, baseball bats, all brand new. And some Cuban guy from Cuba, the baseball player, I forgot his name.
Oye, chico, pero que tú dices.
He was a rookie at the time, but he just recently retired. I forgot his name.
was Barry Bonds.
No.
Tony Montana, man.
No.
Fidel Castro.
Manolo.
So what happened was, go ahead, Angel. Miguel.
So you're experiencing all this stuff that you would have never been involved
Never.
in.
Matter of fact, he even introduced me to his family with all his kids. He had like 8 kids, and they had 3 hotel rooms all together, and they were eating their lobster, shrimp.
Hey.
Wow.
Multi-millionaire. He was giving me like free jerseys, free
The
Colorado
places
Rockies.
God takes you, bro. The doors he opens. It's crazy, bro.
Man.
I mean, crazy.
Crazy.
I just said that because he's from the hood, bro. You
well,
know,
yeah.
he's from Vista.
Not no more, though. I
used to
represent
be.
G-Town. Jesus.
It's crazy when you drink that boffy.
Wow.
I don't know what you're talking about,
All right,
David.
William. Well, we can go all night. I know there's plenty of stories that we want to share again. Is there anything that you want to share before we finish up?
Man, I just want to say that I've been in and out of church, like I said, my entire life, basically. I grew up in church, got saved, backslid. And, I didn't even get to the point where I was in church, saved for 5 years and backslid in 2002, caught a case and went back to prison for 7.5 years. Spent all my 30s in the feds. I didn't talk about that part yet.
You want to?
Yeah, let's do it.
Go ahead.
So from 1997 to 2002, I served God in the Tucson church for 5 years. That's without having sex, without doing drugs, drinking, drugging, hanging out, nothing. And then all of a sudden I fell into sin in 2002. And when I fell into sin, I fornicated.
So because for some people it could get kind of confusing on how that happened. So were you compromising?
Yes, I was compromising at school, at college. I was turning people down for parties, because they invited me to parties. Like, dude, what do you do? Why are you always so happy? What are you on drugs? It's like, no, man, I got Jesus. And like, Jesus, are you religious? I said, no, just I'm a Christian. Mm-hmm. So there was a lot of advanced girls trying to get with me to go to parties, to do drugs, to have sex. And I was blowing them off for like 2 years. And finally, like, I was just like worn out. I was compromising in my walk. And all of a sudden I'm at a party, and then they whip out the cocaine and I'm doing snorts with them. And later on down, I'm sleeping with them.
Oh, you just went balls to the wall.
Yeah.
Took a dive into sin.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
So what happened was I opened the door somewhere, because there was times where I was putting my cup on the table at home. I was living with Jose Sanchez and Matt Dowdy. Oh, Matt Dowdy had a house over there by church.
I remember that.
And I remember putting my cup of tea on the table in the kitchen, and it would slide all the way down and fall off by itself. And it was intense to where I was taking showers, and the faucets in the bathroom would go on by itself. And there was a time where I was using the restroom, and I saw these fingers with nails on them, like that big, on the shower curtain, go down from the top like that, and you could see the fingers like claws. And I was so spooked out of my mind, like literally.
This is because you were compromising?
This was because I opened the door.
Okay.
What, were you on drugs at the time?
Yes.
Okay.
What were you on?
Cocaine.
Cocaine or crack?
Crack.
Oh, okay. So you were on crack.
Yeah.
It's like what you said about when you do meth and heroin. It
You open the doors,
opens up
man.
Parts of your
Spiritual.
mind, that shouldn't be awoken.
Yeah, dude.
Woken.
And it's crazy too, because I've never done, I did meth one time by accident. Because because I thought it was cocaine, and I snorted it.
Oh man.
And I was scared, bro. But anyway,
So this is intense right here, guys. I mean, like literally, I was hearing voices to kill myself, and then the craziest thing about this was I would be in my room sleeping in Brother Matt's house. And I was working at American Home Furnishing as a forklift operator. I was pulling furniture at 4:00 in the morning. And I was seeing these little demons jumping all over the tiers when I was in my forklift.
Oh,
and I was like, what is going on here? Like, am I losing my mind?
Were you on drugs or
No,
were you sober
I was
at
sober,
that time?
but I was seeing this like little buff demons all over the place, jumping around like monkeys.
Can you describe like how they looked?
They were buff, little midget, all black.
Like did they have facial expressions or
they were just that they had red eyes.
red eyes?
Yeah.
Like shadows.
No, they had red eyes.
So right, where they had red eyes, but they were black, like they were shadows.
Yes,
like a
shadows,
silhouette?
like a silhouette, but they were huge, like buff.
Yeah, I've seen that too, bro. Not buff,
Really?
Yeah, dude. But there was like a lot of them, and I was pulling furniture, and then I would hear voices, "Kill yourself, kill yourself," like demonic though, like nothing that Hollywood can ever portray. And I was in the break room one day because everything it's a furniture store.
Bro, that's the same thing that Joe was talking about.
Everything in the furniture store is
but same
new.
demon, bro.
Joe told you that story, right?
No, he hasn't.
I'll tell you after,
Okay.
but go ahead.
So I'm in the break room at the American Home Furnishing on Prince and I-10. That's where that warehouse was at. Now it's Sam Levitt's.
Yeah.
And I'm in the break room making me warming up a breakfast burrito, and the TV was on. I was watching the news, and it starts to flip channels by itself. And I turn around like that to look at it, and it's turning channels by itself. And I went to go touch it to put it back on the channel I was watching, and it turns to the channel that I was watching by itself. And it was like, I was like, oh my gosh, what's going on here? And I'm so scared and shaking and crying. Like, I didn't know what was going on. I knew I was losing my mind. I pick up the phone and I call Mark Kenny, like at 5:00 in the morning. And I tell Mark, hey man, I'm at work. I'm seeing things. I'm hearing things, and I'm hearing voices to kill myself. And I'm going to do it now. I'm just going to do it. I'm going to end it because I couldn't take it no more. It was too much. Torturous. Yeah. And that day, he prayed me. He said a sinner's prayer with me over the phone. And then Wednesday, I saw Jose Menchaca, and I told him my situation. And he said that same thing killed his brother in Mexico.
Wow.
That same demon, because his brother committed suicide. He couldn't take it either. And I remember being at church, and I was very uncomfortable. I had anxiety. I thought I literally had a demon in me, bro. Because I was uncomfortable. I was getting I had these real strong cramps in my stomach where I would have to bellow over because it was so strong. And I was getting sick. Like, I felt like I was going to throw up.
Yeah.
And I just remember being at the altar, man. And I don't know what happened after that. I blacked out.
Now, when you were experiencing all this, you were living with brothers, right?
Yes, I was living with Jose Sanchez, who was sold out. He was on fire.
And Matt Dowdy.
Now,
a lot of things when I talk to people about this stuff is when they're living with others, it's almost like they're only experiencing it. Nobody else can even feel them or even know what's going on.
Well, this is how I knew something was up. I had this big old oak dresser drawer that it took 4 people to bring into the house. It fell over by itself one night.
Oh, wow.
And woke up the whole entire house in my room.
Did they know something was up then?
I knew something was up then, man.
Did they know?
No, they didn't. I kept it like under this carpet. I wasn't doing drugs in this house or nothing because I had more respect than that.
You were bringing it with you,
but it was in my system. Yeah. It was in my mind, in my body. And
did you eventually tell them what was going on?
I don't think I remember because I got busted by the feds at his house. They came for me. The U.S. Marshals came for me, and they busted me at 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning. They just came knocking on the door one morning. I was warming my car. I drove a little white convertible, a LeBaron, and it was outside. And I was inside getting my breakfast ready for work. And I remember hearing a knock on the door. And at first, I saw all these like SUVs pass by, like Escalades and stuff. Like, there must be a party down the street or something because I've never seen that before. And then sure enough, I heard the helicopter above the house. And then I heard the knock at the door, and when I went to open the door, they had a picture of me, and they said, "This is are you William Paul Ramirez?" I said, "Yep." And they go, "Well, you coming with us? You have a warrant for your arrest." And they told me I had sold to an undercover DEA agent when I was doing coke.
Oh wow!
So here you are, saved. Then you start compromising again, and then boom,
man,
jail
bro,
again.
that were what I experienced with those demons and that the voices. Man, bro, I don't want to ever experience that again, man.
You know,
I'm scared.
when you were telling that story about the voices, a friend of mine just shared the same story that he was hearing growling.
That's what it was. It
in
was
the
a
other-
growling.
It sounded like it was coming from the other room, and then it get really loud in his ears. And it sounded like he said, like almost like zombies coming for him.
Yes.
Like, but
Because
it was in his head.
But let me tell you something. I went to Sabino Canyon with Christian King before she got married. It was like a church trip over there, and we went down over there for a nature walk. And I had to use the restroom, and I told everyone to go ahead because it was a bunch of sisters from the church. And I said, "Hey, you guys got to go because I got to use the restroom." And as I was using the restroom, I heard something come down the mountain like an animal. And then when I looked, I just saw the furry, like I saw a black silky coat, like a bear or something. But it was like, the gravel was too light for it to be a bear because, you know, bears are heavy.
Yeah.
And I turned around like that, and I saw this thing stand up on its hind legs. It had a square head, and the eyes were red, and it went back into its head like that, and it was staring at me. And I picked up I was so scared, dude. I thought I was going to have a heart attack. I picked up a rock and I was going to throw it at it. And it just it went up the mountain so quick, it just disappeared, bro.
What? This was during the night?
This was a nighttime, like around dusk time.
Wow.
What are your thoughts? I know this is a little tangent, but what are your thoughts on skinwalkers?
They exist.
You think it was something like that?
Dude, I don't know what it was.
Wait, hold
but
on. What are skinwalkers?
It's native. They're from the Navajo Nation.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
So what I'm
They
thinking,
practice witchcraft.
what I'm thinking is
Someone
that
was practicing witchcraft
That's what I'm
on me.
thinking. That's what came to my mind. That you had somebody that
Because there was a terrible
casting witchcraft
smell
over you.
There was a terrible smell when that thing came down the mountain. It smelled like something died.
Well, sometimes you bring curses upon yourself with certain drugs and people that you're around, bro. You know, like I remember, like I was saying earlier, I never smoked crack or messed around with meth or heroin or anything like that. But I was sleeping around with this girl who was addicted to meth, and she was just like, the sex was just good, and she was really good looking. I didn't care. And after I started sleeping with her, bro, like a lot of weird stuff started happening to me. Weird stuff, bro. Like I remember one time, it was ugly, bro. I was having this nightmare. No, not a nightmare. I was having these thoughts, like almost like something was telling me to do something that's completely outside of my character, bro. But almost like I was starting to develop a thirst for that. And then she woke up freaking out, bro. And she told me, I was just having a nightmare that you were doing exactly what I was thinking in my head. And I was like, dude, there's like some dark entity here. So I believe, bro, that people who are really, and she's still like very much involved and lost on drugs.
So
bro.
there was a story where Chuck and Rose, his late wife who passed away, they had a house on the south side by 12th and Valencia, and they invited me to stay over the night over there. So I went over there to stay with them, but I felt weird in some type of way, like something came into the house and it got on my chest and started choking me out.
What's happened to me?
And on the couch they let me sleep on, and the girls, they were just babies back then, Snow and Tiny. They were just little girls. They felt it come in the house, and they said it felt weird. It wasn't because you know their house was like going into church. You could feel the presence of God in their house, like you can in your house.
So there was something or someone putting a curse on you.
Yes.
Of witchcraft.
Yes.
And it was following you.
Yes.
Because you were trying to serve God.
You
were literally in the house of God, around people of God, but you couldn't shake certain tastes that you had. So what, I'm looking at you now, you're delivered. You're different. So what happened? What finally broke the camel's back?
Well,
so to speak.
I think when after my mom died in 2016, when I met Sergio, because back in those days I was kind of mad at Pastor Warner for kicking me out, and I didn't want nothing to do with the door, and I would see him on the yard, and I would come up to him and say, hey, tell Pastor Warner I said hi. You know, and Sergio was like, you know, I seen him grow up. So for me to see Sergio, I knew that God was somewhere lurking behind the scenes.
Yeah. And I always told him too, is that during that time in my life and even my salvation was just, it was just worded. It was just, I was saved, but I wasn't doing much about it. I was only going to church once a week. Sometimes I'd avoid it because I was doing my own thing.
I even heard him cussing one time, and I'm like, "That's not Sergio."
Yeah, see, and the thing is, looking back at it now, like God works in mysterious ways, and seeing you, you know, would make me think about the old days, and God was using you to tug at me, and it was maybe a couple of years after that where I am where I'm at now, because a couple of years would make it 2018, and from 2018 to now, I've had the most radical change that I've ever had in my salvation. And I mean, a lot of people might say, oh, you can say that now, don't say you never know. No, I'm declaring that there's no turning back. There's no looking back to the past. I mean, we're all going to fall and stumble. We're all going to struggle in our salvation. We're human beings. But I mean.
But I am my brother's keeper.
Yes, sir.
And
likewise.
My brother's keeper right here.
And I always reiterate the same thing to everybody that I talk to. Iron sharpens iron.
That's right.
And it's funny, bro, because I mean, I go way back with all you guys, dude. I known Miguel since he was like, what, 11, 12? You know, and
you know me since I was 13.
I known him like we were in high school, you know, and you, bro, like you knew me when I was a kid. But okay, so I want to ask this, bro. One is, what's the difference between being addicted to, have you ever smoked crystal meth?
Yes.
What's the difference between being addicted to crystal meth and crack?
Okay, so crack is a mental high, where crystal meth is like you can smoke so much of it, and then you know you're lit because you just feel like you feel lit.
Because it lasts a long time.
It lasts longer,
right?
and it's cheaper.
How long does it last for?
Oh man,
hours, bro.
So if you smoke a couple bowls, you're looking like a good 12, 13 hours on just one bowl.
What's the feeling that you get when you're on crystal meth?
You feel awake. You don't feel like you're fiending like crack.
You don't feel tired.
You don't feel tired.
Oh, okay.
You have energy. Like it's like a drug that's geared towards fornication, because you can have sex for hours.
Wow. And not finish,
and not like you can,
or you will, but you'll be ready to go again.
Exactly. Yeah.
Wow.
That's crazy, because that's
a demonic
That's
drug.
what my brother. That's the same thing that my brother says.
What I know this is off topic. What did the Nazis take to stay awake and function?
Meth.
They were on meth.
Methamphetamines. That's what that is, bro.
Wow.
Yeah. And that stuff eventually, bro, it leads people to schizophrenia, and some people just they lose it.
Not
bro.
only that, but it ages you quick.
Yeah, your teeth fall off.
Your teeth fall off.
It ages you, bro.
You start to get these little marks on your face from scratching your face, thinking bugs are on you.
Dude, I one of my cousins, bro, she's been in meth for about 3 years now. She got her kids taken away and stuff. But dude, she was a single mom. She was doing so good, bro. She had a good job. She always held it down. And one day she called me and asked me if I could help her because she locked her keys inside her car and she was in the hospital. And I went over there and she had all these holes on her face, bro. And I'm like, what happened to your face? And she's like, I pick at it. And I'm like, why? I don't know. I just have really bad anxiety. And I got this feeling like she's on something. You know what I mean?
She's a tweaker.
Yeah, sure enough, bro. She's been tweaking for years now. But anyway,
so I just want to say that if anyone's out there listening and you can relate to being in my shoes at any point of your life, and maybe you might even be battling suicidal thoughts like I was, I'm telling you right now, pick up the phone and you can call my number, 520-271-9535, and I'll be happy to talk to you about Jesus. And because that's deliverance, that's
hallelujah.
That's the power of God breaking chains, because Jesus is a chain breaker.
Amen.
You know what I'm saying? He wants to break chains of addiction, of suicidal thoughts, of depression off of your life, because that is not God's will for your life.
Mm-hmm. And those are some strong demons.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
And
But there's nothing stronger than Jesus, though.
When you're on those drugs, are you mentally like saying like, I don't want to do this, but I can't stop? Or is this something like you're just because you know it's destroying your life?
So this is, like I said, like cocaine is a mental addiction. You know, when you smoke it, you just got to have more. Where meth is like you get lit and then you be good for like a couple of days. And then when you start to come down, you start to ache. Your body begins to ache because it's so, you know, used to being tensed up. It has like this. That's why people start to grind their teeth.
Oh, wow.
And the thing too with those drugs, because I mean, heroin is a drug that your body craves. So in order to get off of that drug, bro, you're going to need medical help. But I think with drugs like meth and crack, from what I've seen in people, it's people become addicted to it because they love the way it makes them feel. Like he said, the sexual thing. My brother even told me, like, dude, I feel like I'm a porn star. He goes, when I do this. And when I'm not on it, he's like, I can't perform well. And
But
so
that's a lie, though.
And that's what he tells me. He's like, I feel like I can never, ever enjoy sex the same again if I'm not on G. And G is like, you know,
It's
the
a
street
slang
term for meth. You know, it's glass, G. Anyway, so it becomes so addicting, bro. You try something and it's like it takes you away, bro. It's like
opening that third eye.
Yeah, pretty much, bro. It's something different, you know? So like, cause I mean, when I was addicted to opiates, bro, I was taking them because of my back pain.
So crackheads will steal from you, but meth heads will steal from you and help you look for it.
Yeah.
And it's in your back pocket.
Yes, bro. Dude, for real, bro.
They steal from you, help you look
And
for
they
it.
help you look for it, dude.
Yeah.
Wow.
Sick, bro.
I had an experience with a brother that no longer comes to our church, but he was living with my family because he was having problems with his family. He started working at a gas station where all those people were meth addicts. And that's what he struggled with before and got delivered. Little by little things of mine, especially stuff for entertainment, DVDs, video games, you name it, started to miss.
Talking about Jonathan?
Yes, sir.
I'll take the name out.
No worries. And sometimes the cases were there and you'd look and it'd be different DVDs, different games, or it wasn't there at all.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I would confront him about it. Actually, I didn't know anything. I was like, what's going on? I talked to another person in church I worked with on base at the time. He used to be on that stuff. He's all, you know what's going on? He's all, the guy that's living with you, he's stealing from you. Why? Because he's pawning it to get any little bit that he can. So you're getting robbed because he's using. And I confronted him and he would deny until he broke down. I said, look, man, you know what we're about. You know what you have to do. But surely, slowly but surely, I had to let him go.
So crackheads, man, they take from their moms, their dads, their brothers, their sisters, their grandmas, their ninos, their, you know, everybody. You know, but meth heads, they're like 20 times worse.
Yeah.
They have no respect. And now they, you know, addiction's addiction, man.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what label you put, alcohol, pills, addiction is addiction.
Yeah.
And
But
right now,
there's something about meth, bro. I believe that there's a strong spirit behind it, bro.
of course.
Because everyone that's on that drug, bro, it's like, bro, it's a stronghold, dude. We prayed for Joe Arias a couple days ago, bro. And I felt it, bro. When I was praying for him, I went home that night, bro. And whatever that was followed me home. I wasn't the only one. There was a sister here too, same thing. And it was something heavy, bro. And then he told me, bro, next time we do something like that, we got to like prepare for it, you know, fast and pray. That's a strong spirit, bro. And I mean, we have the victory in Jesus. We're all covered by the blood. You know, there's nothing impossible for God, but you got to really want to be set free, bro, because you can't be set free from something that you love.
And he's at that point where he wants it and he's going to get it. You know what I mean?
There was times where I would be sleeping in my room at my mom's house and I'd be hearing shuffling on the pavement in my sleep, like people in my room shuffling their feet, and there was no one in there but me.
Jeez.
And there were what it was there was demons in my room, and I could hear the door moving by itself. I could hear my bed, like someone getting on my bed when I was just me by myself in the room, and something getting on top of my chest and trying to choke me in my sleep. I could not speak. I couldn't open my eyes. I couldn't do nothing.
Sleep
I was
paralysis.
frozen.
Yeah.
And then when I started thinking about Jesus in my mind, I could feel the loose getting looser, and then I would speak out Jesus, and it would just disappear.
And I want to tell you this, bro, and also to encourage you. Remember, it was almost 2 years ago that I got rededicated in my life this time. And I was coming to church, and remember, my mind was tormented, bro, like bad. This was before I started hanging out with you. Like, I had only been saved for like a few weeks, and it was them two who I was like talking to the most in church. But Triple B, bro, like he played a huge role in like really taking care of me during that time, bro. Because like, dude, I thought I was losing my mind, bro. And Triple B was the one that was like made me feel sane again, bro.
Hallelujah.
And Triple B was always like Triple B was always there, bro. Like I would tell him like, bro, you know, I would just vent to him. I can't even remember, bro. I was just so jacked up in my mind. But every time I came around Triple B, his words, bro, always brought like a peace to my mind. And it was obviously the Holy Spirit, but God really used you during that time. And then I remember I had came to the church and I was just so jacked up, bro. And I wasn't even on drugs, bro. I was just like mentally ill, obviously, but it was demonic oppression that I was going through. But I came to the church so jacked up, and we're talking in the back in the benches. And then Pastor Menchaca, what's his first name? Jose. Yeah, you said, let's go look for Jose Menchaca because he was the only pastor there. And you and Jose Menchaca prayed for me, bro. And I remember after you guys prayed for me, I felt like something lift off of me, bro. And I remember you were like, I can tell. He goes, I can tell you have peace now. You look a lot different. So thank you, brother. You know, thank you for being obedient, bro. You know, God can really use you, bro, and God can use anyone, bro.
If God can take me from the scums of the south side of Barrio Vista, 36th Street locals, and take me to the highways and byways to whatever city or nation that God wants me to go to, there's nothing that can be impossible for God to do.
Yeah.
And I want to thank you, Brother William, Triple B, Billy Ramirez.
Yes, sir. Thank you for
coming
having me
on the
show.
podcast, for coming on this episode.
Privilege.
You know, we're going to have you on again.
Praise God.
You know, you're going to leave and be like, oh, I should have shared, you know, we'll share next time.
Oh, yeah. We got part 1, part 2, part 3.
Yes, sir.
So drop in the comments on what you enjoyed about this episode. If you have any questions, if you want to know Jesus for yourself,
give a shout out.
You got his phone number. You got the comment section.
I want to give a shout out to Pastor Warner, Sister Mona, all the door staff, Pastor Smith, Pastor Pennick, Pastor Garrett, Pastor Leonard, all the evangelists, Pastor Ajala, Pastor Carl Cooper.
Also, you wanted to Chao Perez
and Sister Debbie in Albuquerque, New Mexico, that are turning up over there for Jesus.
Yep. You know,
Triple C.
So we thank you for joining us. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you're listening on Spotify, make sure you give us a follow, give us a good rating so we can get up there in the charts. We're now on Apple Podcasts, Spotify,
God,
Google Podcasts, all
use
those
them,
platforms.
Lord, use them.
So we thank you guys for listening.
Ooh, Jesus.
And just, you know, remember, there's nothing impossible for God.
Nothing.
I wouldn't be here. Triple B none of us would be here, you know, but the lifestyle that Triple B and I lived, I mean, his was obviously a lot crazier than mine. We're here by the grace of God. And if you feel like you are in bondage and you can't stop doing what you're doing, Jesus can set you free. Believe me, he set me free. He set Billy free. And, you know, nothing's impossible for God. So seek and you will find. Jesus loves you.
All right, you guys. The word exchange. We'll see you next week.
Yeah.
Holla.
That was good, man.
And now my identity is revealed.
I wanted to feel.